Episode 6 coming at you. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Today is April 22nd, if you did not know. Tomorrow, my birthday. The next day, Mike's birthday. I will still always say you're a little kid because I'm older than you by a day.
By one day.
And yesterday was my poppy's birthday, and then my granny's birthday is like this week too. I have to find out what day.
April is a great month.
And then both my friends named Kevin, the 9th and the 5th, and then all our friend Katie.
Katie.
Who does not listen to the episodes.
This is just further proof that you don't listen to the episodes, Katie, so...
We'll see if you really do listen.
Anyway, we got a pretty good show. I say that every time. I think this one will be good. We're going to go ahead and jump into some Jags talk, then we'll go into some NBA, and if we have time, get some MLB action at you. Anything you guys want to say before we jump in? No? All right, so starting off with the Jags. Obviously, a lot of things have happened since our last episode. A little recap of the free agency. What do you guys think? How do you think we did?
I mean, we did as well as you could do for a team in our position, I guess. We didn't think we had that much money to spend, but they ended up spending it smart. They got a lot of players. They got a lot of spots filled, like tight end. Got younger, got more athletic in that aspect. And we filled the holes that kind of went gone. With Robinson, we got the wide receiver. I'm just drawing a blank. Moncrief. Yeah.
Dante Moncrief.
Perfect for Jacksonville.
Yeah, you'll see that jersey around a lot. John Kerry's back, I guess. But
That's stupid.
DJ Hayden's to fill the hole for Aaron Colvin, essentially. I don't think Kerry's that bad of a sign. I guess special teams is very important to Doug Marrone. And, they cost us the game against the Rams. 14 points were because of special teams, a kickoff return for a touchdown, and then a punt that got blocked for a touchdown. So it can change games. It can really affect it. So they really touched up everywhere. The lineman, Norwell was the big signing, obviously.
Yeah, I like him.
That's the piece that they feel like they needed to get to the Super Bowl. They ran a lot in the second half against the Patriots, and they couldn't do it. They feel adding Norwell will give the extra holes that Leonard needs to get the extra yardage he needs to keep the game going, to keep the clock running, to close out those games and not have that issue again, of just being stopped on offense, like in the second half.
What about you, Mike?
Like you said, adding Norwell was huge. Losing Allen Robinson, like I said last episode, I expect that to happen because I think he's asking for too much money, and he did get a lot of money, which we were not paying him for. Re-signing Marquise Lee surprised me because I didn't think that was going to happen before the season, but now I guess throughout the season it made sense.
They need to at least sign one of those three.
One of them, and they kept Marquise Lee. They let Allen Hurns go, which saved $7 million. Mercedes Lewis was cut as well. Also another big loss, which I don't know if it's a big loss now, but was Leslie retiring. That's a big one now. Maybe a linebacker. We drafted a linebacker with the 29th pick. Signing Stephon Jenkins was a big one for at least Blake Bortles to maybe take the pressure off of Leonard in the red zone. Niles Paul is a special teams specialist. Signing Moncrief, we'll see what happens with him. It was a 1-year prove-it deal. I mean, hopefully it works out. We can sign to a long-term deal. But other than that, nothing really drew my eye.
I'm surprised. Honestly, neither of you said Cody Kessler. That excites me. I'd rather have a young, bad backup quarterback than an old, bad backup quarterback. No offense to Henny, but, I mean, he was just a placeholder. I mean, if he gets hurt, would you rather have him go in or Kessler go in? I'd rather have Kessler go in.
Yeah, I agree with you there, too. It's just, he's not going to see the field.
They're both equally trash.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, Kessler was on the Browns. He didn't even start for the Browns at one point. He's pretty bad.
Oh, you're saying both are trash as Henny and
yes,
Kessler.
Henny and Kessler.
Sorry,
yes.
I thought you were
All right, yeah, I got a little
Henny
lost
and
there
Kessler.
too.
Don't forget, we also re-signed Corey Grant as well. That's a big sign to help in the running back.
Let Ivory go.
Back depth. Yeah, we let Ivory go, which we needed to. Signing him was the dumbest thing to have done 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And we saw how useful Grant was in the first half against New England too. They they held him back throughout the season. I felt like
They did,
and you saw when he got into games, he had burst, he found holes quick, he
and it's gonna be
got
interesting.
like 7 yards per yard.
Looking ahead to the future, he could be our backup running back next year. 'Cause Yeldon's, I don't know if he's gonna come back after this upcoming year, but we'll see. That's down the line.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll go ahead and go into the draft since we kind of touched on that anyway. Go ahead, Mike. With our pick, do you think we stay there? Do you think we trade it? What do you think we do? If you were our GM,
It depends. I think if quarterback like Lamar Jackson falls to the mid-teens, I think the Jags find a way to trade back up or trade up and get him and let him sit on the Bortles for a year. If not, if they stay at 29, then I see them going linebacker or possibly even, let's see, maybe offensive tackle, offensive guard to replace Parnell or AJ Cann. And I don't know if they're going to go after running back to do a 1-2 punch with Fournette, but we'll see about that.
With what you touched up on earlier with Leslie retiring, I think Blair Brown will be fine in middle linebacker. I think with Jack and Smith on the edge, you can keep them on the edge, but you can still give Jax the responsibility of giving him the play calls and let him call the plays out in the field.
And that's something they can address if they want to address the linebacker position, if they want to draft Puzzle's replacement. But we'll see. I mean, it's still wide open. There's there's a possibility to draft a tight end, which I don't know if they will after signing Safarian Jenkins, but that's still a possibility. Maybe bring in the hometown guy, Hayden Hurst, back home.
Yeah, they've met with like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
that's
and apparently Dave Caldwell and Tom Coughlin have glaring reviews of Lamar Jackson, so we'll see what they do with him if they even have a chance of getting him.
That might just be to get people to trade with them, or
at 29, though, no one's gonna trade that late.
I think New England might be the one that trades up for Lamar Jackson if there is a team to do that.
Well, they're ahead of Jacksonville in the draft. One of the picks.
Yeah. So we would probably have to trade ahead of them, but yeah. I think quarterbacks are going to get drafted quick in this draft. So I think that's going to leave a lot of like skill players available. So who knows? Maybe the best tight end like Hurst will be available, or like the best wide receiver, whoever it is at that point, because there's names that are going flying around all the time, just switching back and forth. Mm-hmm. So I think they probably would do that. That's why they touched up on talking about drafting best player over need.
Yeah, they don't have many needs. They just want to add depth at this point. So the team was a few minutes away from the Super Bowl, so I think it's now adding best available player to help the team win.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Anyone that can make an impact, essentially, like right away, or someone you can see making a huge impact in the future. So,
moving forward, the state of the franchise was just the other day. Besides the no audio portion in the beginning, it was informative. There was a couple little things, like they're opening the first dog park in a NFL stadium, which I think is cool. I'd like to take advantage of that. They also reduced prices of concessions for certain items to $5 items, like pretzels, hot dogs, soda, fries. That's a good one, even though I try not to ever eat at the stadium.
Well, it's because of price.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, like I love nachos, so $5 nachos. I'm getting like 3 of those probably next time I'm at the game.
I mean, they're nachos. I mean, $5 isn't that bad compared to what it was, like $8, I think, or $9. It's not worth any. No food's worth $9 for the stadium.
The highway robbery. But like the big things, obviously, were the schedule release as well as the uniform release. Obviously, people had seen the uniform release, so we'll go ahead and start off with that. What were both of your initial reactions when they came out? Not from JIA, from actually
from the Jaguars
being
themselves.
On the Jaguars themselves, yes.
I thought it was a classic look. It's simple. It's not as like last uniforms Jags had were too many colors. I thought in a uniform, you just gotta go back to what they had before. Just a normal teal and black and one uniform, or teal and white, or just black and white, or white on just all whites, anything like that. Just something simple, which I don't mind. And they're split. I've seen a lot of split opinions on those jerseys. I like the glossy helmets. I thought initially they're going to go matte, but going back to glossy makes more sense because it does go back to what we had in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I would say they're more so simple as opposed to like back to tradition, because the old ones everyone loved that had the gold trim and teal was the home. I feel it's like you can tell what they're doing with these uniforms. It's a combination of all of them. Like Mike mentioned, the helmet is glossy like the original. There's still marks around the collar like the previous set. The numbers are almost identical to the set with like the piping on the side.
The
Uh,
Blaine Gabbert uniform.
yeah, Blaine Gabbert, MJD
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
MJD wore like 3 different ones. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, those ones with the piping, and then just the black numbers on the white. I know people are upset about that, but I think that's just to reiterate that black is our home uniform, and that's how Shad wants this team to be identified as a team that wears all black and looks nice in all black and looks mean in that
Mhm.
kind of. And then the teal pops. I love the teal pants. I think you can wear the
They'll
teal.
wear those, I
yeah.
think, a Thursday night game against Titans or even a Sunday night against the Steelers, which we'll get into in a second, the schedule. But
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
Go ahead. Okay, what I was going to say is I think they'll wear those teal. Mark Lamping set up to, or not Lamping,
Sexton.
Brian Sexton set up to 3 times this year, so we'll see what we do when we wear them, if we wear them,
Yeah.
more than the night games.
Well, for us to wear it 3 times, that would mean that we would have to wear the teal on teal with teal socks against Tennessee on the Thursday night game.
Well, there's no color rush on Thursdays.
Well, I know, but
they'll
like,
wear. I think they'll wear them Sunday night. I think they'll wear all the color rush on a Sunday night game.
yeah. So, but like they had to wear the color rush like essentially at least once, and then the teal can be considered an alternate for 2 other games essentially. But yeah, and like they're just good uniforms. You can wear the teal pants with any of those jerseys.
And no matter what, people are still going to buy those uniforms. No matter what you put out there. I mean, look at the Browns, the Bucks.
You want to support your team.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with those uniforms, but I mean, people are still going to buy them no matter what. No matter how much it costs, they're still going to buy it. As long as it gets the team money and it keeps the team in Jacksonville, they're going to keep doing it.
And can we just agree that it would be so much better instead of Color Rush Thursday, do a Throwback Thursday?
Yeah.
That needs to happen.
Well,
I don't know why the NFL has not used their brain on that.
Well, it's they have a 1 helmet rule to help try to prevent concussions and
Which
such.
is the stupidest thing ever.
Because they need to do research study. Because college, they wear different helmets every week. Yeah, look at Maryland, Oregon.
Oregon's the big one.
You name it. Even UCF has like 5 helmets. Right.
You mean the national champions?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Which, by the way, that needs to stop. UCF national champion thing has to stop.
Someone's got to beat them first, though.
Yeah, man.
They'll lose week 1, whoever they play. I don't even know who they play.
What if they play like Mississippi Valley State?
Maybe not, but
UTEP.
See.
They're not the national champions. I don't care what anyone says. So, need to stop.
So ultimately, on uniforms, rate 1 through 10, what would y'all give them?
7. I'd say 7. I mean,
I'd say 6.5.
It's nothing.
My only issue was like the gold.
There's
and
no
the
gold,
teal.
which I think a lot of people are a little mad about.
Yeah, and I can see that, but the problem with that is it's hard to find a balance without it looking cluttered. They could have had double outlines on the jersey, or they could have just had
sock
one
piping or a pants stripe.
But the thing is, it's a classic look, so I think that's what Coughlin and at least Coughlin wanted.
And I like how they did do something with socks. They didn't leave them plain black. I wanted teal socks, but I like how they're kind of half and half. I think we'll end up seeing them be half and half when the players start to wear them. Because players do so much different stuff with their socks,
and cleats.
Yeah, and then there's
Jalen did one. Jordan Brand teal cleats coming out soon.
Yeah, and then got the little teal on the back of the pants and such. Just the little details to kind of add a little pop. And I think when players accessorize, like you said with the cleats, the visors, the wristbands and stuff, you're going to see more teal in the uniform too, in that sense. And it's a look that we can wear for years and not get tired of. And when they win the Super Bowl in it, we'll just have those great memories.
They could wear a Hawaiian shirt and win the Super Bowl. I wouldn't care.
I mean, the Patriots are never going to change their uniforms back to like the best ones they have, like with the red ones, because of how many Super Bowls they won in this robotic looking uniform. It's weird, but those are gonna be timeless and traditional for Patriots fans, and they're not gonna change unless for like a long time. I don't even think they will. They'll be like the Packers have the same uniform, Steelers have the same ones.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, if you look at the Packers throwbacks, though, you can see why they kind of keep with the green and gold.
Yeah,
those blue and tan are just ugh.
And they were like rating? Blue and orange before.
Yeah. So. What's your rating?
I'd be about 7 too. Yeah, if they had like even like the slightest trim, like you could do like a thin pinstripe around the cuff and like of gold, and it would have looked nice. But
I mean, I think it's fine right now.
Yeah.
And give it 5 years, they'll change it up again.
yeah, they'll
probably.
tweak it like that. I mean, we were looking at the uniforms from the past earlier. They went through like so many tweaks with side panels, drop shadows, and such, and they had block numbers the first year, their inaugural year, and then they went to that different font and such. But yeah, so solid uniforms overall.
All right. Well, then going into the schedule, start. Obviously, it's a quite tough schedule. I mean, going to Wembley Stadium to play Philadelphia. You've got quite a few solid teams on this schedule. But my point of emphasis is the first two games of the season. We start at New York and then come back home and play New England. What are our odds of starting the season 2-0?
50-50.
Yeah, well, I think they're pretty good odds. I think New England got worse as a team, and depending on what New York does in the draft, they're not. Like if they get Barkley, I think they can be a good team to see what they can do this year. But we should win both of those games with how we played last year, what we're expected to do this year. Those games should be teams that we should beat. So I think we should be 2-0, but it just depends on the draft too.
Also depends on how Blake does.
Yes. So if you could only go to one game this season at home, not counting the Philly game, what game would you want to go to?
Well, I'm getting season tickets. I don't know, but if anything, it's easy. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers game because that's Sunday night football.
Well,
that's the big one.
I mean, I would want to go to that too. I've seen the Steelers play. I want to see Tom Brady play because I'd probably go with the Patriots, and that's an AFC Championship rematch too. It's a big deal. So if Brady's playing, I mean, everyone's get this idea that he might not play.
If Brady plays, that's the thing. As of now, it's Pittsburgh, but
I hate hearing that. Yeah. Well, I think we covered. Was there any other Jags stuff you guys wanted to throw in?
No. I mean, one thing I want to kind of make a prediction, early season predictions.
I mean, I was
quick one.
I nailed it last year.
You did nail it. Wait, do you guys want to do this right now, or do you want to do this next episode?
Just throw a quick one, just
because we did it before the draft last time too. So
yeah, we did it right after the schedule release.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it game by game. Yeah, we did it game by game. So let's just throw a quick one. Let's see.
The first one was against the Giants. All right.
I'm just gonna throw a record. I'm going 10-6 again. I'm not even look at schedule. I think 10-6.
10-6.
You don't want to go game by game
with
it?
Because that's too hard to predict.
All right, Keith, what's your overall record?
I'll go 11-5.
11-5. All right, I'm gonna try to go game by game like I did last year. So, let's see, Giants. I'm gonna give them a win there. New England. I'm gonna give them another win there.
Home against Tennessee.
Home against Tennessee. We're gonna win that game too.
Jets at home.
Jets at home too. Jeez. I'm gonna go with win there. I think in real life though they lose one game. I mean, just because things happen.
Of course.
So at the Chiefs.
So then we go to Arrowhead.
I'm gonna give them a loss there.
At the Cowboys.
At the Cowboys. I'm gonna give them a win there.
Houston at home.
I'm gonna give them a loss against Houston.
Philly and London.
Philly and London. I'm gonna give them a win. I'm gonna give them the hometown win because it's Philly's first game in London. I do think that has an effect depending on their travel plans. I think that we blew the Ravens out last year. And apparently, Ravens had a top 5 defense last year.
That's true.
I mean, people want to talk crap about Blake, but if you look at the teams we played, they weren't like that considered that bad to everyone else. Like they got more hype than the Jaguars did, but we clearly were the better team in most of our games.
For sure.
So
and then bye week comes around, then go to Indianapolis.
Indy, easy W.
All right, then Pittsburgh at home Sunday night.
W.
At Buffalo.
W.
Colts
again, another W.
Let's see who's next. At the Titans.
I'm gonna give them a loss for that one.
Redskins at home.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to watch with Alex Smith. I
want to go to that game.
Yeah, I think they'll win that one. I think they'll beat Miami too, and then they'll chill and lose to Houston. So 12-4.
12-4. So we got 10-6 for myself, 10-6 for Keith.
No, I said 11-5.
11-5. My bad. And Skylar's got 12-4.
So they're going to be division champs again. Have the number 1 or 2 seed, probably number 1 seed. Just because, I mean, who's better than us in the AFC right now?
Still think New England until we beat them.
I mean,
Yeah.
but they lost Nate Solder, their left tackle or whatever. They lost their running back.
No, it's a receiver. I mean, it's still Belichick and Brady until further notice.
Well, all right. We got our schedules. We got our predictions. Tell us what you think. We're gonna switch gears here now to the NBA quickly. What is the biggest surprise so far of this NBA playoffs? For you, Mike?
The Blazers getting swept by the Pelicans. I did not expect them to get swept or lose the series to begin with, but they got swept and kind of embarrassed in 2 of those games.
True. Skylar.
Well, y'all know I don't really keep up much with the NBA season, so I don't have too many surprises. I can see Portland getting swept is a surprise, but I think with Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, right? I think
DeMarcus is out.
He's out.
Yeah,
Okay,
he hasn't played since mid-year.
well, that's a surprise to me. So there's my NBA surprise.
And as we're recording, the Celtics lost game. They almost came back and beat the Bucks, so the series is tied 2-2.
That would
Okay.
be my biggest surprise right there. Boston and Milwaukee. I obviously Boston has their injuries and all that stuff, but I thought they would take care of business with Milwaukee
I
just
think
because Giannis is still
he's
getting
still a
his
stud.
feel, but he is a stud. So
Yeah.
2-2 there. That's going to be a great series. I hope Indiana can somehow just muster up everything they have.
Victor Oladipo.
And if
Stop it.
yeah,
I know.
if Indiana wins that series, I think that would be the biggest surprise so far. Obviously, it'd be
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
But
because LeBron is the first
it's-
finals without LeBron in 8 years.
yeah.
God, that would be a joy.
Isn't that insane? That to think about too, in a sense,
I mean, I think this year is more wide open. We said they're going in. This is a wide open playoffs.
It is. It is indeed.
And I wish. And speaking of not even wide open, but the fact that me and Keith are Magic fans, so we have not been in the playoffs in the last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, it feels
More?
like about 20 years, but yeah.
And they still won't be there anytime soon.
the
but-
Bulls are doing well in the playoffs, disguised as the Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves.
They got
Timberwolves.
Thibodeau, Rose, Butler, and Gibson,
Mirotic.
right? And
Mirotic, too.
Mirotic too. Yeah. So
No, Mirotic on the
no.
Pelicans. My bad.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, I was going to say, wrong team.
Three Cola. He was so good for us, and I guess we got rid of him because there's that drama with him and
some guy punched. I forgot his name.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Magic, hopefully next 2 years make the playoffs, which more likely will be 10, knowing them.
Yeah, so we just fired Vogel. And
Bad
from-
fire.
Yeah,
I
it was not his fault.
it's
I
not his
mean,
fault.
it was just
Rob Hennigan, the previous general manager, can't draft or sign anyone correctly.
From what I noticed, it looks like y'all get rid of your players right before they're good. If
Oh
that's,
yeah, I think we're the best in the NBA at that. If there was a competition, for sure. I mean, my goodness, the talent that has just come and gone out the door is just unbelievable.
you could say it's just magical what they do for everyone else.
Shut up.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna kick you. But so for me, I think the 2 biggest names that we could probably get would be Jerry Stackhouse or David Fizdale. So Stackhouse, obviously everyone knows him for his playing days, but he's been coaching for a little while now, and he was the D League coach, or excuse me, no, I think it was the D League. Yeah.
G League.
It was the D League back then, last year.
It went
G
from
League was this year.
It turned into G League because D League was too inappropriate.
Yeah,
Okay.
the D. Yeah, so he was the D League champion and coach of the year in 2017, and I think he's gonna be a pretty good coach if he does get an NBA gig. It's just one of those. Do we want to bring in a brand new coach
I mean, we've got a brand new
with
GM.
what we have? Yeah, so that's why he's kind of just an asterisk for me. But David Fizdale, obviously known for being Memphis's coach, famous for his meltdown press conference in Game 2 against the Spurs. I forget the line he said, but it was just like, look at the data, where obviously like the Spurs won the game and there was no fouls called on them.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
many fouls called on Memphis. Mike Conley's never gotten a technical foul, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I think he's a very good coach. I think he got a bad rap. People know that he got fired this past year. We think it was due to a disagreement with Marc Gasol, but who knows? I saw that Memphis team play in Orlando, and I didn't know half the players on their team. So he didn't really have much to work with. I think he could come in and do good things for us. We will have to see. Let's see. So we're coming up close to our time limit here. Mike, I do want to get in your MLB. Skylar, we'll talk more about our MLB teams as the season progresses, but we have Mike's MLB update. So you remember 2 episodes ago, he picked the Diamondbacks to defeat the Minnesota Twins in the championship. Or the World Series, excuse me. I don't know why I said the
World
championship.
Series.
But so, Mike, what are we looking at right now, and what record-wise for your 2 World Series teams?
Well, Arizona, the Diamondbacks are right now 14-6 and first in the NL West. And in the AL, the Minnesota Twins are second in the AL Central at 8-7, only a half game back of the Cleveland Indians.
All right.
So far through 15 games, not bad. I'll take it for one of the teams, and then 20 games in for the Diamondbacks.
Mike is on track. Hopefully, we get some good stuff from him.
Yeah.
And obviously, since this is a local podcast, I wanted to end this episode with a little local sports update. I'm stealing that one from 1010. That's the only thing I think I ever will steal from them. But I'm
Definitely
just
not
gonna.
a hacker.
I like the sausage, or whatever they always say. He says. So first, I'll start off with the Sharks. The Sharks are sitting at 1-2 right now. They just lost 51-41 yesterday to Columbus. I forgot they joined a new league, so I don't recognize any of these teams.
The NAL, right? National Arena League.
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what the
there's some
leagues are.
weird teams. I think
I
they have
still
like
need
the
to go to
Maine
Sharks
Mammoths
games.
or something.
You've never been one?
Never been to the Sharks
Never
game.
been.
I went with Eric. It was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe we'll all go.
when they're in the AFL is awesome. I don't see these teams. I don't know because AFL they had a little bit better talent. I guess I don't even know.
I agree.
It may I don't know because even Ron Jaworski owns a team and such, but I haven't been to a game in a while, but they're still fun. It's cool to watch it. You get to keep the ball if you catch it. So
that is nice. Yes, but their next game is next Saturday, the 28th, against the Carolina Cobras. Also, another team with a new league is the Armada. They're in the National Premier Soccer League, the NPSL. They just finished their preseason with a draw against the Atlanta Silverbacks. Their season opener is Saturday on the road in Miami against Miami FC. The Jumbo Shrimp we touched on a little earlier, but they actually no, we talked about that before the show. But they lost 4-3 to Tennessee in 10 innings yesterday. Playing them again today. They're actually not doing so hot right now. They're 5-10. Probably due to the Marlins being so bad anyway.
Well, I mean, they said with the Marlins being bad, we should have some nice prospects, but they're going to be young prospects too.
Yeah.
So that's why they're with the Shrimp. They're developing. They're learning how to wait on curves, how to play situational ball and all that. Meanwhile, they still have minor leaguers up with the Marlins. So
very true, very true. And they're finishing their series with Tennessee, but they're back home on the 26th through the 30th against the Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
And they had 2 games that had more attendance than the Marlins. So
yeah,
that just goes to show that the fans down in Miami are not excited about their team.
Incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
Going on to the college level, JU baseball. So after taking down number 1 Florida a couple days back, they're going for 6 straight wins. Actually, as we speak, they're playing the St. Louis Billikens right now. They're going for the sweep. In that game, they're sitting at 27-13 right now, and they're back home April 27th against NJIT. So if you like JU, go out and check that out. On the other side, UNF beat Savannah State 7-1 three days ago, I believe, after dropping 4 in a row. They have a nice break in games, and their next game is at home against Stetson, also on the 27th. They're sitting at 19-19 right now. So
how many games do they when's their season end month wise?
They got a little ways to go, I believe. I am.
When
not
is
positive.
the road to Omaha?
That is usually in the summer, right?
Yeah, usually is in summer, from what I remember at least. I know Fort State's coach Mike Morris, I think 5 wins away from breaking the all-time record for wins.
Is he really?
I think so. He's very close.
But they don't have any actual World Series though. So
No.
dang.
In Omaha, but
It's crazy. He's like the Dan Marino of coaching.
And like with Florida, people thought last year's team was like one of the worst that we had, and we ended up winning it all.
Mhm.
And I think I mean, we had great pitching last year, and then this year our offense is picking up. We had a guy named India is the last name. He had a 24 game
Yeah,
hit
I
streak.
remember him.
But I mean, JU's beaten us before. That's what baseball's all about. So I mean, upsets happen. So I mean,
Eric, if you're listening to this, you already know the last time we were there in Gainesville when JU took them down, sitting in the booth with Scott. That was a great time.
Eric better be listening to this.
Yeah, you should. So I think that's all we have. Just to reiterate for you, yes, the World Series starts in like June. It looks like the end of the
The
ASUN championship.
college World Series, not the
Yeah.
actual World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
well, everyone knows MLB's October.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be
Right.
surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
true.
know that.
True. So just a last note I got from Daisha right before we started recording. You guys look cookie dough. The Wonderland Cookie Dough Company is now open at the St. John's Town Center. It's edible cookie dough. They're right across from Steve Madden. Go check them out if you're
Is
into
it
that
all
kind of
cookie
sort
dough
of thing.
edible though?
No, cookie dough has
People eat-
raw eggs in it. And
People
you-
still eat cookie dough all
Yeah.
the time.
Yes, but you're not supposed to.
I mean,
Okay,
Rachel
you're
and
not
I,
supposed to.
this
well-
is safer. You can get salmonella from that.
Rachel and I eat.
You get E. coli from eating lettuce right now. So.
Yeah.
I know. We had to stop serving salads at Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
It was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's
Rachel and I
funny.
get a tub of cookie dough from Target just about once a month. Go through that in a week or so.
I like actual cookies better. Call me crazy.
I like
No,
both. I like
I'm with you
both,
on that
but
one,
when you're
Keith.
lazy, just
I'm
That's
with you on that one, Keith. I can't eat cookie dough like that. Nope.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not on the toilet like first thing in the morning, but I'm just saying no regrets.
Give me regular cookies any day.
Well, thank you all for submitting your questions as well. We will get into those next episode. We went a little long today, so we'll get to yours next time. I'll post it again, so if you have any new questions, hit us up.
Chance, come up with a better question than the one you asked.
Ooh, snap, shots fired from Mike.
Bang bang.
For Skylar, Mike, I'm Keith. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, trust the process. We'll see you all next time.